Hello, first graders. We have been reading Annie and Snowball and the Teacup Club. So it's always a good idea to refresh your memory on what you read before you start the next chapter. So our first chapter was teacups. So if I go back and think about what I learned that Annie is pretty much a girly girl. She likes things that are pretty and frilly. She has a pet bunny. She is cousins to Henry and lives next door to Henry and Mudge. But she's sad because she wants some friends who like teacups just as much as she does. So if we go to our next chapter called Henry's Idea, let's make a prediction before we read. What do you think Henry's idea is going to be? We kind of already know the problem. The problem is that Annie doesn't have any teacup friends. So in Henry's idea, what do you think he's going to do to help her solve her problem? All right, so let's think about Henry's idea. I need some teacup friends, Annie told Henry as they sat on the front porch swing. Mudge and Snowball were sharing a carrot. I want to dress up and have tea parties, Annie said. Yuck, said Henry. Annie smiled. She knew Henry would like a mud puddle party better. Maybe you can start a club, said Henry. Really? Asked Annie. Sure, said Henry. Annie and Henry worked on the sign all afternoon. The sign was very pretty. It had a painted teacup and it read, "A teacup club for girls. Call Annie soon." Annie and Henry took the sign to the girls' dress shop. Mudge and Snowball came along too. Snowball loved going for rides. After Annie and Henry put the sign up, Annie saw a little girl and her mother stop to read it. Okay, what can you tell from the picture? Look at the little girl. She's wearing a frilly dress. She looks like she's dainty. Looks like she's interested in teacups. What do you think's gonna happen? Yay, said Annie, a teacup girl. Henry just smiled. You want to go play frisbee now? He asked. Okay, Annie said. Annie was dainty, but she was fun too. That's the end of chapter 2. So I want you to think about how our chapters are connected. In the first chapter, we met Annie. We learned a little bit about her, and we learned the problem in the story. She didn't have any teacup friends. In the second chapter, Henry had an idea, and his idea was to have her start a club. So the first chapter had the problem. The second chapter had an idea for a solution. So we'll have to wait and see what the last chapter is, because the last chapter is called Dainty Friends. So the last chapter might be how her problem is solved with Henry's solution. All right, so come back tomorrow to hear how the story ends.